This video covers the installation and setup procedure for the EasyFit drop-in dual flush kit. If you want to learn more about the features of our EasyFit and the different kit options available, then please refer back to our website. This video is intended for the do-it-yourselfer who wants to see the actual install procedure or is ready to install the kit. So let's get started. The EasyFit is in fact the easiest dual flush kit to install because it simply slides down over the existing flapper valve body, which is commonly found in standard 1- and 2-piece toilets. No tools or tank removal are required. In this example, we're going to retrofit a 15-year-old American Standard toilet, which normally consumes 1.6 gallons of water per flush. This turns out to be a very excessive amount of water, and you will see that once we get the dual flush kit installed, we can easily get that down to about 1/2 that amount and still get a good flush. The first step is to turn off the water at the wall. Next, we'll remove the tank lid and flush and continue to hold the flush handle down to drain as much water out as possible. This will make working down inside the tank easier. Since we won't be removing the tank, there's no need to scoop out the remaining water. Now that we have the tank emptied out, we'll identify the parts inside that we'll be removing. These include the flapper chain, flapper valve itself, the bowl fill valve at the top of the bowl fill or overflow tube, and finally the flush lever mechanism. First, we're going to disconnect the lift chain from the flapper valve. This is usually held by a simple chain clip. Next, we'll remove the flapper valve itself by dislocating it from its hinge points on the flapper valve body. Since the flapper valve is pliable, the hinge connections pop right off. Now before we go any further, we want to make sure that the lip of the flapper valve body is clean and smooth. If yours is not, then you'll need to clean it up as best you can. This is important to ensure a good seal between it and the EasyFit valve. The last step in the disassembly process is to remove the flush handle itself. If the nut does not have finger tabs for easy loosening, you'll probably have to use an adjustable wrench to break it loose. But this should be the only tool required for the entire job. Note that the nut on most flush handle assemblies is a left-handed thread, so you'll loosen it by turning it to the right. We'll begin the install process with the flush handle and push button actuators. Depending upon which kit you ordered, you will have one or the other, but both install in roughly the same manner. Note that both have a removable rubber spacer to accommodate varying size keyholes, so you may or may not need that. The flush handle can be installed to the left for the standard up-down flush operation, or you can install it pointing downward for a left-right flush orientation as desired. In some cases, the handle may hit the tank lid on the up flush in the standard configuration, so pointing it downward will eliminate the problem. You can also easily change to a push-button actuator if you prefer by ordering the part on our website and swapping it out. Now we're ready to set up and install the flush valve. The larger slider sets the half flush volume, and a good starting position is its midway point. Then we'll set the full flush slider all the way up to its minimal. Next, we'll twist and separate the flush valve from its base. To set up the valve base for installation, we'll first orient the base gasket to fit the slope of the flapper valve body in the tank. Some are basically flat and others slope away from the fill tube. Simply flip the gasket as shown for the best fit. Now, we'll loosen up the locking collar and remove the inner shim from the valve base so we can slide it down easily over the standing bowl fill or overflow tube that is attached to the flapper valve body. To install the valve base, we'll first reorient the locking collar some so we can get to the wing nut more easily down inside the tank. Then we slide the assembly over the overflow tube and insert the shim if required. Now we'll press down on the base to slightly compress the gasket while we tighten up the collar. Depending on the overflow tube diameter in your toilet, you may not need the shim. To install the valve body down into its base, we simply align the tabs to the base, insert, and twist. Next, we attach the flush actuator box to the flush handle by depressing the latch and snapping it on. There are two latches, one for the lever handle and the other for the push button, so only one latch key will fit. The last step is to swap out the existing bowl filler nozzle with our adjustable bowl filler, which is another key water-saving component. In fact, if you do a test flush with the existing nozzle in place and watch the water level in the bowl, you will find it overfills by as much as a half gallon or more. So we're going to adjust that down as well. Depending on your overflow tube diameter, the adjustable bowl filler will either snap on or fit down inside and connect through one of the side holes. You can also drill a side hole if desired. Once installed, we will set it at about the midway point to start. Before we turn the water back on, it's a good idea to do a quick double check back over the new components. It is especially important to make sure that the cable is routed in a nice lazy bend and that the flush mechanism works freely and smoothly. Naturally, this is a very lightweight system, and almost all of the erratic flush problems with these kits stems from poor cable routing. So be sure to double check it and reorient the flush valve and/or cable box actuator if required. Now we're ready to turn the water back on and make the final adjustments. I recommend you turn the water on slowly at first to make sure you don't have any leaking or spraying anywhere. Even though we didn't remove the tank, it's always possible that some component or fitting was loosened during our install. Once the water starts coming up in the tank and all looks good, we'll adjust the water pressure to a nice compromise between fill time and noise. Naturally, the more we turn up the water pressure, the faster the tank will fill, but it will also be louder, and the heavier pressure is a little harder on the fill valve, so no need to overdo it. This concludes the EasyFit install procedure. From here, we'll try a few test flushes and adjust the sliders for the desired half and full flush cycles. See our other videos for more details on different products and procedures. Thank you.